If you have a comment or question, would you please use the microphone so that we can get it on the tape, and just give us your name. You don't have to tell us anything more about yourself. Please go to the mics. Just as people get there, I'll mention two quick things. Please go to the mic please go to the mic. This page 17 was interesting to me because the countries with the 0.6 ratio, Italy, Greece, Malta, Luxembourg, France, Spain. So the most liberal of pension benefits, can those economies afford it? And the other one that I think is worth mentioning, that if we had a room full of economists, this slide, page 21, would have been different. There would have been something about funding levels on this slide around factors to consider when assessing a Social Security program. There's no funding levels on this. It's sustainability, adequacy of benefits, consistency with societal expectations, equity and fairness. That's an actuarial page. No one's approached. Please, please. I'll take the front and then the back, and we'll take you both.
Okay, Reese Kesselman with a local city. Thought the analysis and presentations were very useful. Just one aspect I'm sure is implicit in all of it, but I think would be helpful to draw out a little more, is the extent of pre-funding of plans versus pay-as-you-go. So there's reference to contributions, raising the contribution rates is one possible solution. But the whole issue of whether, contribution rates can be raised on a pay-as-you-go scheme. In other words, over time as the scheme is paying out more benefits, or as you well know, more pre-funding, which here in Canada is, with the Canada Pension Plan, is the way things are turning. So it has certainly major implications for sustainability, for intergenerational equity, and also is to some extent a substitute or alternative to raising the standard retirement age.
Thank you, Reese. Back microphone, please.
I'd just like to add just one comment to this. I think the level of uncertainty what's associated with fulfillment of promises is something that should be considered in terms of increasing societal understanding and recognition that some of these things are actually promises rather than just pay as you go if you wish to continue. So that is a factor in terms of increasing or decreasing the uncertainty of society with respect to these benefits.
I'm going to take the second microphone.
Thank you. It's Charles Cowling. One really interesting discussion and analysis. One of the very practical problems, though, when you start to try to put some of this into reality, is that it's all run by politicians and there's political expediency. And specifically, it's all very well talking about intergenerational fairness. The politicians aren't here for the next generation, they're here for the next election. They want to be elected, and one of the issues that we, certainly from experience in the UK in talking with politicians in the UK, it's all very well for us actuaries to create models of what we think should work, but actually if it's not going to get them elected at the next election, frankly, it's not going to get anywhere. And you add to that the demographic shift, and I'm sure this is not just a UK thing, which is seeing an increasing proportion of the voting population being those in retirement ages. There is a real challenge here for how you can put through retirement reform. And I wonder to what extent we need to overlay what's likely to happen in terms of demographic shift and how that's going to affect what's politically possible for governments to put into place.
Thanks, Charles. I'm going to ask for final comments after Junichi makes his comment. That is final comments from the panelists. Junichi?
Thank you very much. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you and congratulate on the comprehensive work on the eligibility issues on the pension system. I'd like to comment a couple of comments from the perspective of Japanese experience. Japan is now experiencing a rapid aging problems, and 4 years ago, the Minister for Health, Labor and Welfare mentioned several items for discussion to reform, and she mentioned one item about the eligibility age. Then the hysterical reaction from the mass media happened, and from that experience, the Japanese government is now trying to avoid to use the word eligibility age or retirement age. So, and now they are discussing this issue, but still they are avoiding the usage of the word eligibility age or retirement age. And we analyzed the public concerns on this issue, and they are very much concerned with the connection of the eligibility age with the working period. And so probably this analysis is very nice and comprehensive, but at the same time, if you add flavor of labor market for the elderly more in depth, then this would be a much better report. That's my first question. And the second comment is that Mr. Gutaman mentioned several indices for fairness, and among them there was a money's worth ratio. But I don't think it's a very good measurement, because if the money's worth ratio is the same, even if the money's worth ratio is the same, probably the cohorts, which period the cohorts lived, depend. I'm sorry. I should say that the disposable income of cohorts are different, even if the money's worth ratio is the same. If there is an economic growth, so comparing it with other indices, I think it is a second-rate index, in my opinion.
Thank you, Junichi.
Thank you very much.
I'm going to allow the panelists one last comment if they wish to make it. You do not have to. I'll start on my right. Okay, and Sam, we're already at you. Did you want to say anything? You don't have to.
Yeah, of course. I do think that this is an important issue, just as bottom line, and it's an issue that it's very difficult to look at in isolation. So I just encourage the actual profession, internationally and nationally, probably more importantly nationally, to think about this and how the national associations can contribute to the discussions in an objective, non-political way, even though that's quite difficult, of course.
Martin?
I'll just take up one point. I agree that the issue of funding or pay as you go is an important one, and perhaps we can take that up and include in the final version. I'm fairly confident that when you look behind it, there's not a great deal of difference between the two. They appear to be different, but when you look behind it, there's not a great deal. I have a little bit of a bias towards funding in that it provides flexibility, particularly in a defined contribution environment. But it's a worthwhile topic, and I think we should take it up.
Marcia?
Like going back to funding, I think first of all, when we address situation, like there will not be just one measure, but several one, even with funding. Like first of all, I guess we need to get funds to invest. So, like as happened, as you referred to, Canada Pension Plan, one of the first step at 97 reform was increasing contributions. So even if we want to increase the degree of pre-funding, it may be that should be combined with some other measure that may be not probably as unpopular as increasing the retirement age. It's my first comment. The second comment, I totally agree with Junichi about the importance of the kind of marrying the labor market issues and retirement issues, and we definitely will try to look where we can in the report how we can kind of clarify this linkage. Thank you.
I want to thank you for your patience. We are going to break now, but just after a couple of small things. You can see we've got 4 respondents after the break. In appreciation of their hard work, let's try to start at 10:30. And would you please join me in thanking our excellent panelist presentation. Break time.